So if you haven't already been over to duneawakening.com, you totally need to go over there. They've got this really cool page up, which is talking about your journey and some of the things you're going to be doing in the game. And I'm going to be covering a ton of different details in upcoming videos as myself and other people from our community begin to prepare for the launch of Dune Awakening. There's still no timeline. I don't have any private information about anything. We just are riding the wave of publicity right now and happy to see more and just preparing for this as something we're eventually going to be playing. So what I want to focus on today is when you go to the website and you click on the games section, it's going to take you to this page where it's essentially you're going to be able to scroll down and watch through things. So we get the first when you're up here, you can scroll down, starts you off with this really cool video, which you remember this is the launch trailer that dropped. I want to say couple of years ago. I don't remember exactly when this dropped, but this was that original trailer that we got, which got us all hyped for everything that was about to come down the pipeline. Welcome to Arrakis. It's a dangerous place. It's a desert world. We know it's not some place that you're going to want to survive alone. So Dune, your journey. This is one of the coolest ways to display information that I've seen in a while, which is why I wanted to walk everybody through this, because the way they've done this here is really cool. So we start off talking about your journey through Dune Awakening, an open world survival MMO. Rise from survival to dominance on the most dangerous planet in the universe. If you haven't read Dune, you probably have time to at least read the first book. If you haven't at least read the first book, go see the recent films, the first two films which cover the first book. You can also watch the 2000-ish, 2001-ish Sci-Fi Channel miniseries that they did, or the David Lynch version. Dune is one of those unique planets in science fiction that is super hostile, but there's way more to it than just the planet, which I appreciate that they're building into this game, because we are obviously focusing on the primary element of, being the environment here, and that's Arrakis itself. But we also have the complexity of all of the factions and the great houses and everything. And that's something where if you've read the books, you're going to have a lot more information going into it, or at least watch one of the adaptations, because there's a ton of information on what makes Arrakis so dangerous and why it's such a hotbed for political intrigue and what's going on here. Dune Awakening combines the grit and creativity of sandbox survival games with the social interactivity of a large, persistent multiplayer game. Cool. Awaken the Sleeper. Your journey begins on Arrakis, which is vast deserts and colossal sandworms. We saw the intro video the other day in the most recent trailer from the Dune Direct event, which was the first one they did. They're going to be sharing more of those throughout 2024 as we get closer to launch. So if you want more information on that, we do know, based on what we've seen so far from the trailers, that you start off in a cave. We're not sure how you got into the cave, but when you come out of the cave, you're dealing with the blistering heat of the desert. You need to find shade, get shelter, build a shelter, survive, and in the midst of all that, getting chased by a sandworm across the desert. It looks absolutely amazing. It says here, meet characters from the movies and books as you follow your story across Dune. Discover new allies and enemies and exploit your relationships to uncover the mystery that lies just beneath the surface of the sands. If you've read the books, you know what mystery lies beneath the surface of the sands. But if you haven't, I'm not going to spoil it for you here. Choose your identity. You're going to create your own character, obviously. Build your prowess. It says from deep character creation to skills and abilities taught by specialists like Mentats and Bene Gesserit. So this is one of the areas where we saw in some of the most recent footage, like we saw the Hunter-Seeker, we saw the Mentat scanning the environment. We've seen some of those, they're not class abilities, but just abilities in general at play from the various factions. So understanding your journey into Arrakis is going to be understanding some of those specialists and those groups and factions that they belong to, because there is a difference between the Mentats and the Bene Gesserits. They come at things from a different angle. They don't necessarily have the same goals, but they both have a way of looking at the world that allows them to see way beyond what the normal person sees. It's very interesting. I like how they mention here that you're going to be declaring your loyalties by what you wear, and basically pledging yourself to a faction, and also becoming known by what you do, whether you're a specialized master or multi-talented adept. Let's go exploring Arrakis like never before. Rolling dunes, ancient underground ecology labs, deep canyons pockmarked with caves, bustling villages, and the lawless and ever-changing deep desert, which has a really cool renewing feature that I think they've talked about. I don't know that they've ironed out exactly how often this is going to be happening. I've heard like once a week, where the deep desert basically reshapes itself once a week, and so everybody has to go out again and learn where all the spice blows are and learn where all the safe spots are and to rebuild outposts and everything else. It's very interesting the way that's being done. They even just, it's here. It's actually mentioned here. A never-changing world beyond the shield wall. Because the cataclysmic Coriolis storms regularly alter the landscape, uncovering new valuable resources and sweeping away player-built outposts. Once the dust settles, the race is on. Scout fresh new land and uncover the secrets of the sand. And if I had to guess, this is where the majority of the PvP game is going to be taking place, to see who could be there first, in conjunction with their great houses to get the resources that they need, which mainly is spice, of course. And of course, water. Water is life on Arrakis, and learning where to find it in the world, how to extract it, as well as, here's the key, extracting it from bodies as well as the environment, and of course your still suit. So this is also another aspect of PvP that's getting blended in, because you'll be able to harvest water from your enemies, which is really, really cool. Combined arms, it says engage in epic third-person combat, from deadly ambushes to large battles. Flying vehicles. By the way, all of the says fast-paced gameplay with interplay between infantry, ground, and flying vehicles. We've seen snippets of all of these combat systems in action. They look pretty good. I won't know more until obviously I get hands-on. My big thing is always going to be how well does it play on a controller, and given the fact that they are simultaneously releasing this game on consoles as well as PC, I'm hoping for really good controller support during combat. You're going to be utilizing anything from Holtzman gadgets to ranged firearms and melee techniques taught by the great schools of the Imperium. And one of the things that's really unique to the world of lore, world of Dune, if you've never read the books or watched the films or anything, is that the technology that's being used here for shields doesn't allow projectiles to penetrate. Anything that's fast moving can't get through a shield. And so they need to use melee weapons if you're going to be getting up and close and personal with someone, because you can't get a projectile whip through the shields, but you can get a slower moving blade through. So that was something that I know some people have raised concerns about, is how well is that going to translate into a video game, because this is an adaptation. It's not meant to be book 100% book accurate. It needs to be fun and adaptable across a wide variety of playstyles. So they can't only have melee, otherwise it's not going to be something that a lot of people want to play. So it's going to be interesting to see how they weave the ranged combat in, given the lore limitations of the Holtzman gadgets, and of course the atomic reasons for not wanting to use lasers and things of that nature against the shields, and also the way that the shields drive worms berserk, and so you can't use any sort of shielding in the deep desert. There's some craziness going on that I'm really keen to see how they've woven that into the game, given the fact that this is an adaptation and not a direct translation of the books. Controlling the spice says gather flares for a foray into the deep desert or scavenge what you can find on the sidelines. So it's going to be depending on how big of a group you want to take into the desert to find this. Sell spice at the exchange or consume it to expand your potential at the cost of addiction. I will be risking it for the cost of addiction. Sorry, I know the benefits of spice. So this is something that really interests me here. It says grow a guild and grow it, create a guild and grow it into a house miner by allying yourself with one of the great houses. So you'll be able to create a miner house. What I'm interested in is, how is this going to work? How is the Landsrad coming to come into play here with all the major houses? I would urge you, if you like RTS games, even if you don't, try Dune Spice Wars. This is a game that came out late last year. It's an RTS that features the Landsrat and all the major houses, and you choosing to make truces and allying yourself with different Grace houses. It's a great game if you just want to get into the lore. I've done some reviews here on my channel. You can go check those videos out if you want. But I'm very interested to see how they've done it here. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload, or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. I know they talked about at the Dune Direct event, this sort of tying into the PvP, as I understand things, where the great houses are going to have objectives that player guilds can align themselves to, and each side is going to be vying for control of the planet. So shifting alliances, man. Says sand, like the sands, power is ever shifting. And let me get here. Path to prosperity Create your first shelter, choosing from each building piece from a range of distinct styles, from solid rock away from roaming sandstorms, and raise temporary outposts for your interests beyond the shield wall. This is the interesting thing I've learned from direct and things they've talked about, which we went over here earlier about the deadly Arrakis, the Coriolis storms. Um, the permanent base you're going to be able to build is something that can never go away, and you can make blueprints of that and everything else. And the reason you want to make blueprints is because when you get into the deep desert where things are wiped off the map every once, so I think it's once every week or so, whatever that timeline ends up being, they want you to be able to build satellite bases as you explore deeper and deeper, so that you can be always sending resources back in a supply chain. And so having a primary base of operations that has all of the things that you need to sustain yourself and to fortify as you work deeper and deeper into the desert is good, because everything once you get beyond the shield wall is temporary and has to rebuild every time the sandstorm rolls through. So it's a very interesting way to do things. And they said craft weapons, armor, vehicles, tools, modifications, and much more. Hone your crafting skills and acquire the rarest schematics. Creating an efficient harvesting operation and chain of production to make it big on the exchange will grant you wealth and power, but also enemies. And I think that that's something that's intriguing to a lot of people who are going to be playing this multiplayer, like our group is going to be doing, because we're going to be doing this co-op. Is going to be, what does it take to create harvesting? What are they called? The hoppers. There's a word for them, and I can't remember what it is from the books. But the actual machines that do the harvesting, and then getting those out. Do we have to protect those? Do we, are we fighting the Fremen? I haven't seen much mention of the Fremen at all so far in on any of the press material I've seen so far for the game. So I'm really interested to see how the Fremen and their storyline are going to play into things. Can we align ourselves with the Fremen, or is it only going to be Arrakis? Or is it only going to be the Atreides and the Harkonnens? Or are we also going to be allying ourselves with the Emperor's family or other Landsrad families? I would love if we could do the Fremen, because freedom fighters, yay. Anyway, folks, I just thought that this is a really cool way to portray the information and sort of give everybody a little bit of lore. It's over on their website, so if you haven't already been, you can check out the website at duneawakening.com. I highly urge you, if you have any interest in this game whatsoever, get over there, get registered. Not just beyond this, because there's not only the website, also the Discord. There's a lot of stuff that happens in the Discord. I don't want to talk about all the things that happen in Discord because there's some juicy tidbits, but the devs are very, very active on their Discord, and there's lots of super juicy details being shared there on a regular basis. So if you're truly interested in Dune, the intellectual property, and Dune the books, and this Dune MMO, definitely head on over, check their website and their forums. I will be playing the hell out of this game when it goes live, and we also have a group of community members who are going to be playing, so we're going to be doing a big co-op thing. It remains to be seen if we'll be able to do our own private server, or if we're going to be on one of the mega servers with everybody else, but we will be playing this as a group. So whenever this comes around, expect to see this in heavy rotation. So if all that sounds good to you, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. I stream daily here and on Twitch. You could find us in our Discord if you want to get involved with our gaming community, and our World of Warcraft guild, where we also do lots of other things like Enshrouded right now, and then we're coming up to do Dune Awakening, probably doing some other stuff this year, so stay tuned for that. And of course, don't forget to check out all the other things I do. Play a lot of games. There's playlists. There's a Patreon. Links are below. See you next time, everybody. Stay safe. Don't let the sandworms get you.